In this video, I'm going to show you how to fold an origami roast turkey designed by Kayhan Qaiser. I'll use a square sheet of paper with a side length of 24 centimeters or 9.5 inches, and the folded turkey will then be about 8.5 centimeters or 3 3/8 of an inch long, 8 centimeters or 3 1/6 of an inch wide, and depending on shaping, perhaps 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch deep. So let's get started. For a predominantly brown model, let's start with the color side up and first crease both diagonals by bringing point to point. Then unfold, rotate and repeat. Unfold again and flip over the paper to now fold edge to create a horizontal crease line. Unfold, rotate and repeat. Unfold, and now we want to take the bottom corner and bring it to that central intersection. And crease, then take that corner and bring it down to this point where the crease line meets the folded edge. Then rotate by 180 degrees and repeat on this corner. Now we want to form a preliminary base, so we're going to push this paper in and that paper and then let it all collapse down, just like that. Now we're going to open this section up and form a new preliminary base on this one. So we're going to take this corner and bring it to the top to pre-crease the diagonal, unfold, and now also fold edge to edge on both sides. Ensure to really pull that paper flat before creasing so that you get a nice straight crease. Unfold, and now push this paper up and that paper up to flatten it like this, and then you have your small preliminary base. Let's zoom in on that section. We want to form a petal fold here, so we're going to take these two edges and bring them to the central crease line, folding 2 layers at the same time. Don't be too concerned if the paper shifts a little bit, we can correct that in a second. Once we have that, we're going to unfold it and then take just the top layer and push the paper inside. And if these creases don't quite go to the corner, you can adjust them just a little bit now and flatten down so that you get nice precision, but the pre-creasing helps to get the paper to go about in the right spot. So here you can see I'm going to adjust the crease so that it's nice and pointy. And it doesn't matter that before my layers shifted just a little bit. Then fold down, and now we want to make a color change here. So for that, I'm going to open this paper and then push on this point and that point. So you can see first, let's open the paper just a little bit, like that, and then I'm going to push here and there. Once here and once there. And then this is going to unfold a little, that doesn't matter. We're going to go along these crease lines that already exist on both sides, and also on these, just ensuring that we do not add new creases. And then we're going to push that up again, and then that petal fold will close again, but now we have that color change. Now we're going to take this tip and fold it up to that folded edge, and then fold it down again about 1/3, and here we're determining how long this tip is, although we will blunt it. So Do that to taste, but about 1/3 I find is fine. To make it nice and straight, I align this point with that edge right there. Now comes the trickiest step, just because it's a bit fiddly. I'm opening this up by going in here, and I want to add a crease between this point and right there where you can see that horizontal crease line ending. So I'm going to push that open so that we start forming that valley fold, and we strengthen it by really pushing it down. And then we're going to flatten it down again and do the same thing on the other side. Just flattening it down. And then we want to open both sides at the same time and flatten it down, going along those crease lines like that. So now you can see you have this shape, and then we can fold in these sections like that to finish this section. Now we want to form these small legs right here and there. So first we're working on that side. So we're going to take this right section and we're going to fold it out, starting a crease in this point, so that perhaps this edge lands with this point. So we're going to start the crease and then flip it over and then pivot until we have that angle right there. And then we can also see right here, let's just look at it from this side, that we need to fold in this area so that we can nicely expose that leg area. As you can see here, if we closed this up just for a second, you would see we have this point and we need to get rid of that. So for this, we're going to fold in the paper just a little bit. And what I like to do is I like to get a nice definition by ensuring that this section right here shows, but not too much, because else the paper is going to be in the way. And then I imagine kind of trying to go relatively parallel to that edge right there and folding the paper in like that. And then just strengthen that crease. And when you have that done on one side, we want to repeat the same step on the other side. So I'm just going to take the first one as a reference to get the same angle. And of course you can vary this, but you need to ensure in a couple of steps later that you can actually collapse the rest. And I'm going to show that to you right now and undo in step, just so that you know that the angle is okay. Because this section of paper needs to be folded in half so that we have a narrower leg here. So we're taking the top edge and aligning it with the bottom edge. And if there is too much tension here, then you can't fold it down. But as you can see here, this one works all right, just like that. I need to add a tiny squash fold. That sometimes happens, and I don't mind that at all. And I'm just going to unfold this again, just because I want to do that a little later, because I want these angles that I added right here to be repeated on the other side. So I prefer to actually not continue with this side quite yet, but first repeat all the previous steps on that side. So first open up and fold a small preliminary base. Then bring both sides in to form that preliminary base and add the pre-creasing for the petal fold. Unfold and bring in the paper along the existing crease lines. Then flatten down and open these sections, pushing on these 2 points to invert that petal fold. And bring everything back together. Fold up the tip, and to get about the same length, use this tip as orientation for how far to fold the section down again. Perhaps this far. Now comes the fiddly step of adding those small valley folds and fold in the sides like that. Now this time on the left we're going to fold out the paper, getting this angle to be like that. And now we can flip over this layer so that we can match that angle for the shaping to get a nice symmetry. And fold like that, and this time we can already fold in half that wing and perhaps very consciously add a squash fold to further shape that turkey, if you like. On this side we're going to fold down through a point that we're going to create after we have folded in that section of paper. So make a strong crease, and then we're going to go through this point, fold down, folding edge upon edge, and depending on what angle you chose, this point might just tuck inside, and then it's nice and secure. But if it doesn't tuck in, you can also take this whole section and fold it behind, and then it's secured nicely too. So finally we want to blunt those small bones sticking out, so fold in just a tiny bit and then fold over that layer while ensuring that this small section folds in half nicely. And then here we need to fold back that other layer. And now we have these creases which we need to make into mountain folds. One on this side. Then open up that paper right there. And we can fold down this section right here. Folding it down and either tucking it inside or, as before, folding it behind, whichever works best for you. And then of course we also need to use that flap and fold it inside so that seen from this side it's going to be a mountain fold. And then fold this down, and again I'm quite consciously going to make a small squash fold here. You don't need to, I did not for this model, but I wanted to show you a slightly different look if you actually do that. There we go, and then close that up after we fold it up just a tiny tip here. And we can use the other one as a reference so that they're about the same length. Right there and right there. So as you can see here, you have a slightly different look. And if you like that look better, then you can really enforce it. But I'm going to just keep this side like that so that we have a very similar visual look to this one. But as you can see here, you do not have to add those squash folds, but it does depend a bit on the angle of your folding. Now we need to change the angle of these small legs, and for that we're going to go inside and just make an inside reverse fold, pushing the paper, and you can choose where that inside reverse fold starts. Although I like to go all the way to the folded edge. I looked at a couple of pictures of roast turkeys and thought that made it look most natural. And then same on the other side. And again, try and personalize your turkey. If you think that these tips really should be gone now, you can even now fold them in like that, to round the turkey even more. I find that you can always adjust the models just a little bit to your taste. Finally, this tip is not blunt enough yet, so I'm going to fold it down, and you can do that really to taste. Could be a longer turkey or a plumper turkey. And now we want to have an open sink, so I'm just going to very carefully pull on two of these opposite tabs and push this open. And then go on the other two and push it open so that you can see that square appearing. And when you have that square, just go along the creases and strengthen them. And then push the sides inside. It doesn't have to be neat, although I like it to be neat. And then close it up, like that. And now you can slightly curl the turkey and perhaps even pull like this to make it a little three-dimensional. And then your roast turkey designed by Kayhan Qaiser is all done. Now, if you like this model, definitely check out Kayhan's Kickstarter campaign, where you can both support the artist and get a digital or screen printed poster of the diagrams on beautiful kozo paper. The campaign ends on February 22nd, 2018, so head over there now to learn more about it. Finally, for more of Kayhan's work, visit his website kayhanqaiser.com. And if you liked this video, do let me know by giving it a thumbs up, commenting below, and sharing it with others. Plus, check out my other tutorials on either simple or intermediate origami models. And last but not least, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss my next videos. I hope to see you around, and as always, happy folding!